So I had this very dumb idea for a tier list video. And if you guys know me, then you know I've made some really dumb ones in the past. The mountain lion tier list will not be topped anytime soon, but I did have a fun idea. So you know the Garden Warfare maps, BFN, all that good stuff? Have you ever considered living in them? Well, in today's video, I actually ranked every single one of these maps in every game, and I basically just ranked them on how livable they would be. So just telling you the tiers before we actually get into it here, we have at the bottom, Detroit. Just one tier above it, you would be fed to zombies in second tier. A tier above that, could maybe live here, would be difficult. A tier above that, somewhat comfortable living here, but risky, and I think you get the idea. Basically, the most lavish locations are going to be at the very top of the list, and all the zombie locations are going to be at the bottom. Without any further ado though, let's get right into it. And we'll immediately get the bottom two tiers out of the way. I do not need to explain the Detroit tier. You are going to die. Zombopolis is not a safe space. If you're human, you will get screwed over immediately. So no, big no. And Zomboss Estate, come on, you are at his front door. You're gonna be made into a meal within seconds. Also, the gnome area here is just kind of here because, I mean, come on. Look at it. Do you really need me to explain why it has to be here? It doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna get killed. But if we go above, yeah, this tier is looking pretty similar. You might have noticed that both the Z-Tech Factory in BFN and Z-Tech Factory in Garden Warfare 2 are in the same tier. That was intentional. Any zombie ruled maps are immediately going to be in this tier, basically, though I have a singular exception, and we will get to that in a bit. Moving up the ranks here, we have could maybe live here, would be difficult, and I feel like I should explain a few of these. So, let's start with the time-based maps. Coliseum, Ruiny Ruins, Sandy Sands, Time Park, oh god. Okay, so all of these maps are fine, you could live here, theoretically. The issue is that you wouldn't be able to live long. Come on, you're living on a dino island in one of them. You're not gonna live very long if dinosaurs still exist. Be so real. On top of this, you also have to consider that there is a lot of hazards in every area. Seeds of Time alone has an area where you can fall into lava at any moment with just one misstep. You're gonna die. So you could live here, yes, but come on, be real with me. You're not gonna live here very long. If we move around just a little bit more, you can see that 2 of the 3 BFN campaign maps are here. Oh, by the way, I should probably clarify this. For the BFN maps, basically their Team Vanquish counterpart map was also factored into this map, so technically we're looking at 2 maps here, but yeah, both of these are still in this tier because, I mean, come on. The plants made the woods area just unlivable for the zombies, and also for humans. And looking at Mount Steep, do I even need to tell you what's going on here? There's a molten volcano of cheese. No, do not live here. You're going to die. I hate specifying that, but it's true. Of course, the further along we go, the more you can probably understand why these are here. For Loggy Acres, there's the giant marshmallow cannon, which yes, isn't normally active, but when it is, that's kind of a danger. And again, the same point for the woods map kind of applies here too. Tourist Trap Island is in a very similar boat, but Zomboss has a massive, and I mean massive, weather-created machine. Come on now. You're not gonna live here. Giddy Park is fine. You actually see people driving on the street right next to it, which is kind of interesting. But zombies are your next door neighbors. So, those people clearly have better things to do than worry about a zombie apocalypse. I mean, what the hell? And as for the final 3, I, again, do not need to explain these. Backyard Battleground has an unarmed nuke sitting in the middle of it. Come on. Also, Colossal Fossils is just high up. And I'm not going to explain the final map. I forgot the name. Okay, now we're getting into the part of the list where things are going to be more reasonable, and I will have to explain the dangers of every location here. So, Crash Course and Jewel Junction. Okay, so Crash Course is a massive location. It's very pretty, very nice. It's a great view for all the rich folk. However, this area got destroyed by Zomboss stuff. So yeah, not ideal to live here, but hey, it's nice. Jewel Junction is theoretically a good place to live, but that train, oh my god, that train. You don't even get stopped by it. It is running in the middle of a building at full speed? No, you gotta be careful. So, okay, I actually forgot the name of this map. This map, it's pretty solid, but you're gonna have to buy new clothes every few weeks if your dirty laundry is being used as a projectile against the zombies building their own town right next to yours. So, not great. Daisy Drive is actually below its D-make, and the reason why is because Zomboss has already taken over some of the area here, so that's not great, but hey, it's still cool. Preserved Pastures is fine, but you have to consider that the plants have a secret operation where they're building some crap and they're making a giant mutated pickle, and you don't want to live in an area like that, you know what I mean? And finally, both winter maps for Garden Warfare 2, I mean, you just have to worry about the temperature. Just be a little bit mindful about, you know, where you're at. And yeah, you would be fine. And now finally we're moving on to a decent tier. You could reasonably live here. These are all locations that do not need to be explained except for a couple of them, and we'll talk about why. Going from left to right, Main Street is a really good map. It is very well designed, and it looks like you could actually live here. The only real problem here is the kook in the middle of the map. This is like having an unarmed nuke sitting in your country. Oh wait, Driftwood Shores is fine, I guess. That sunflower looking at me is the only thing that makes me uncomfortable. Plus you have to worry about tsunamis. There's always potential for a storm brewing, so yeah. That actually goes for every single beach map here. Like every single one, I'm not kidding. As for Cactus Canyon, the one singular concern for this map is, hot desert. Yeah, that's about it. And finally, we have Town Center for both sides. And really the only reason why this one is so high is because the zombie influence isn't that big. In fact, the zombies seem to have barely taken over when you play their campaign, so yeah, the map is pretty good. And finally, top tier. Lavish lifestyle here and no real danger. Oh boy. Okay, so every single one of these maps are genuinely ordered, and yes, Walnut Hills is at the very top. I will explain why, but for the time being, let's go over every single map leading up to the final one. Zen Peak. Really good map. The only danger is the cliffside, but you're not going to be running into that problem if you're even living here, because let's be honest, you're going to be careful. Garden Center. What a classic. This map, before it was taken over by the zombies, was kind of beautiful, and a really lavish location in general. Like, it's a great shopping district. This is definitely a map that I could see myself living in if there was any apartments nearby. Like, everything is so walkable here. It's a great location. Chomp Town is in a very similar boat, but it gets the edge over Garden Center for just having even more flexibility with its landscape. There is so much to do in this area, and you know, you would live here very well. It's perfect. Though it is a little bit crowded, which is why Suburban Flats, the actual D-make of Daisy Drive, is a little bit higher than that map. Not only is there no zombie influence, but the map itself is also really nice. This is a very chill neighborhood. It even has a trailer park, which is really realistic. This map is definitely my favorite when it comes to how it was designed for actual living. Like, it feels lived in, and I love that. Then we have Peachy District, and this one's gonna get a little bit of flack, but I promise you there's a reason why it's here. Peachy District is a pretty good map when it comes to actually being lived in. Yes, the walnut mortars at the very end of it are a little bit dangerous, but they would not be activated if zombies weren't trying to invade them at all. So when you look at it in that way, this area is actually pretty good, and it's also very walkable. Again, walkability is one of my favorite parts of these locations, and that's where Walnut Hills comes in. Oh boy, could you imagine just going on a morning run throughout the neighborhood of Walnut Hills? Dude, that would be so chill. That would be amazing. Ignore the massive graveyard right next to the area, and you've got yourself a beautiful location to stay in. This is genuinely perfect. It is such a good map, and honestly, I only love it so much because it feels so realistic. Of course there's gonna be some rich scumbag sitting at the very top. And of course he has his own home defense. Everything about this map is very realistic, and you could totally live here. It would be a great location to do so. And I think that's about it for my video. This was definitely one of the most interesting videos I've ever worked on, and yeah, I don't really know how to feel about it. It's weird. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to my Extra Wise Side channel members, those being Dan B, Glitch into Code 867, Nicholas Vankowski, Sleepy, Song, Sophie Gaming, and Wapfa. Alongside my normal member, thank you all so much for your continued support. And as for me here, I'm gonna go. This entire video was unscripted, you could probably tell. I'm just gonna go work on this. I'm gonna go get footage, I'm gonna go play in these beautiful maps. See ya.